What were the main stories for you out of this quarter's earnings?
So specific to the smartphone, the main stories is that Apple did well in China. They did well in new markets that are traditionally dominated by Android. And they had a record for the number of people who switched from Android to iOS. The challenge with the smartphone market is just as you said, it is a mature market. When you look at US online adults, 95% of them own a smartphone. The devices are very expensive. The devices are amazing. The upgrade cycles are slower. It's not like 10 years ago where we all bought a new phone every 2 years. It's just these phones are serving consumers now like PCs for 3, 4, and even 5 years at a time. So it's going to be tough. I don't think it's a surprise, but it's going to be like this because the market's mature unless you go out and find new customers and break into some new markets.
Julie, I'd like to do some mental arithmetic with you. Are you open to doing that with me? Okay.
I'm going to try.
Let's try. Apple said it has an installed base of 2 billion devices globally. They also said they had 1 billion paid subscribers now. But clearly there is a big pocket of Apple device users around the world that are not paying for an Apple service. They're using what's available for free. Are you able to work out, therefore, the path forward? How Apple and how many of those users Apple can convert to paying for a service?
Well, I think, Ed, one of the tricks in the numbers is right. There's a couple of things that we know about Apple users. One, they're relatively affluent compared to Android owners. And the second thing is we know that they own multiple devices. It would not be uncommon in markets like the United States for someone to own a laptop, a tablet, a smartphone, and even a smartwatch. And so we have 2 billion active devices. That doesn't mean we have 2 billion owners. Right? We have fewer owners because each person owns multiple devices. But the strength in that story, I think, comes back to the arguments that you were making earlier about the services. The more devices I own, the more valuable the services become to me because they work across all of my devices. And yeah, so I can continue down that path, or we can shift gears. But their services story is a very strong one. And they've been laying the groundwork for years and years for that just services revenue to continue to build and build and build with video, with audio, right? They've got almost 20% in the United States paying for music, paying for video. Go ahead.
Julie, let's be constructive then and say what was exciting for you based on what was discussed on the call or what they put in the earnings statement.
So what was exciting for me, I would say, one was the services number was up, right? And that speaks to the power of the ecosystem. The second thing that's always exciting for me is looking at the wearables market, right? You talked about in your opening that the smartphone is the device. It is the device that Apple counts on. And we've all been talking about, will there be something that comes after the smartphone and replaces it? And we haven't seen that yet. But what we are looking at, right, $40 billion in the wearables and the home market, 35% of U.S. online adults own a smartwatch now. It has outpaced fitness wearables. So you're seeing the vision for that could come up in time. So I think that part of it is interesting, right? And Apple continues to lay the groundwork here. We have always said that a smartwatch will have more utility and become more valuable when it's my payment mechanism, when it's my health mechanism, when it's my identity mechanism. And when we look at all of the states trying to move my driver's license, my insurance onto the Apple Wallet, that translates to the watch, and those things are going to be more valuable. So that's the second thing that I would look at.
Well, I just want to jump in. Let me take a moment, Julie, really quick, because I'm looking at these beautiful images of Vision Pro. And it takes me back to being, right, exactly, and being back at WW. Well, you say it's amazing. Okay, but did we learn anything
tried them on.
new?
If you've had them on, you're like, wow, that's something.
And then you're one of a small group then. But did you hear anything last night that gives you a better sense of how wide the rollout of this Vision Pro is going to be globally?
No, this is going to be tough initially on, right? From what I've heard, they're still, working through, getting the product ready for market. I mean, it's still carrying nearly like a $3,500 price point, right? I mean, that may be mid-price for a computer, but it's not mid-price for a consumer device. So that's, I think we're going to be in a wait-and-see situation there in 2024. The technology impresses. The ecosystem impresses. Yeah, what their rollout is going to be, right? That's a different question. Well, that's a bit of a wait and see.